Discovery of the ancient vault. The vastness of space stretched before Zara Novak as she piloted her small research vessel through the Orion Arm. At just 17, she was the youngest Xenorchaeologist ever to lead an expedition for the United Earth Federation. Her mission: to investigate an anomalous energy signature on a distant, uninhabited planet designated KOI 4878 bits. As Zara's ship breached the planet's atmosphere, she couldn't shake the feeling that this mission was different. The energy readings were unlike anything she'd seen before, and the secrecy surrounding her assignment only added to the intrigue. The ship touched down on a vast, windswept plain. Zara donned her exosuit and stepped out onto the alien world. The gravity was slightly heavier than Earth's, and twin suns cast an eerie purple glow across the landscape. In the distance, a mountain range loomed, its peaks shrouded in mist. "Base, this is Novak. I've landed safely and am beginning my survey," Zara reported through her comms. "Copy that, Novak. Remember, this is a covered operation. The Galactic Consortium must not know we're here," came the reply from her handler, Dr. Emerson. Zara acknowledged and began her trek towards the source of the energy signature. As she walked, her mind wandered to the current state of galactic affairs. Humanity had made first contact with alien life nearly a century ago, quickly finding themselves outmatched technologically by the vast Zarkonian Empire. While not openly hostile, the Zarkonians treated humans as little more than a curiosity, denying them access to advanced technologies and restricting their expansion. After hours of hiking, Zara reached the base of the mountains. Her sensors indicated that the energy source was emanating from within. As she searched for an entrance, her hand brushed against a seemingly ordinary rock face. To her surprise, it shimmered and vanished, revealing a hidden doorway. "Dr. Emerson, I found something. It appears to be a concealed entrance," Zara reported, her heart racing with excitement. "Proceed with caution, Novak. We don't know what you're dealing with." Zara stepped through the doorway, and lights flickered to life, illuminating a vast, cavernous chamber. The walls were lined with strange, pulsing pods, each the size of a human. In the center of the room stood a pedestal with a glowing holographic interface. As Zara approached the pedestal, she gasped. The symbols on the interface were unmistakably human in origin. "Dr. Emerson, you're not going to believe this. I think I've found some kind of human facility, but it's ancient, far older than our recorded history." Before Dr. Emerson could respond, a booming voice echoed through the chamber, speaking in an archaic form of English. "Genetic archive activated. State your designation and clearance level." Zara's mind raced. How could this be possible? Humans had only achieved interstellar travel in the last century. Yet here was proof of an advanced human presence on this distant world, predating known history. Zara Novak, Xenorchaeologist, United Earth Federation," she stammered. The voice paused, then responded, "Genetic profile confirmed. Human detected. Emergency protocols activated due to extended dormancy. Initiating briefing sequence." A holographic figure materialized before Zara, a man in a uniform she didn't recognize. He began to speak. "If you are witnessing this message, it means our worst fears have come to pass. I am Admiral Thorne of the Terran Confederation. This facility is one of many vaults scattered across the galaxy, housing our most powerful weapons, genetic superweapons capable of reshaping entire species." Zara listened in stunned silence as Admiral Thorne explained how, eons ago, humanity had been a dominant force in the galaxy. They had created the genetic superweapons as a deterrent against hostile alien empires. But a catastrophic event, the details of which were lost to time, had forced humanity to hide these weapons and reset their civilization. "The genetic superweapons in this vault are our legacy and our burden," Thorne continued. "They have the power to elevate or destroy entire species. Use them wisely, for the fate of humanity and the galaxy rests in your hands." As the hologram faded, Zara's mind reeled with the implications of what she'd discovered. Humanity wasn't the underdog they'd always believed themselves to be. They were the inheritors of an ancient and formidable legacy. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the facility. Zara's comms crackled to life with Dr. Emerson's panicked voice. "Novak, we've got a problem. A Zarkonian patrol ship has entered the system. They've detected the energy spike from the facility. You need to shut it down now." Zara's hands flew over the holographic controls, trying to deactivate the vault. But it was too late. The genetic superweapons were already beginning to awaken. As the first of the pods hissed open, Zara realized that her discovery was about to change the course of galactic history. Humanity's forgotten power was stirring, and the Zarkonian Empire would soon face a force beyond their comprehension. With trembling hands, Zara reached out to touch the first awakening superweapon. As her fingers made contact, she felt a surge of energy course through her body. In that moment, she knew that the fate of humanity and the entire galaxy now rested on her young shoulders. The stage was set for a conflict that would reshape the stars themselves, with a 17-year-old girl at its center. Zara Novak, the reluctant heir to humanity's ancient power, stood on the precipice of a new era, one that would prove, once and for all, that humanity was a force to be reckoned with in the cosmic arena. Awakening the legacy. Zara's mind raced as she stood before the opening pod, the enormity of her situation crashing down upon her. The genetic superweapon within stirred, its form obscured by a swirling mist. Dr. Emerson's frantic voice continued to crackle through her comms. "Novak, what's happening down there? The Zarkonian ship is entering the atmosphere." Zara took a deep breath, steeling herself. "Dr. Emerson, I've activated something. Some kind of ancient human weapon. I don't fully understand it yet, but I think it might be our only chance against the Zarkonians." There was a long pause before Dr. Emerson replied, his voice grave. "Zara, listen to me carefully. Whatever you found, it's beyond anything we've encountered before. You need to secure that facility at all costs. I'm sending an emergency transmission to Earth, but it'll be hours before reinforcements arrive. You're on your own for now." As if responding to the urgency of the situation, the mist in the pod began to coalesce, taking on a vaguely humanoid shape. Zara watched in awe as the figure stepped out, its body seeming to shift and change with every movement. The being turned its featureless face towards Zara and spoke, its voice a harmonious blend of tones. "Greetings, Activator. I am Nexus, the first of the Chimera. How may I serve?" Zara swallowed hard, her scientific mind struggling to comprehend the being before her. Nexus, we need help. There's an alien ship approaching, and they're not friendly." Nexus tilted its head, processing the information. "Understood. Threat assessment initiated. Accessing genetic database for optimal response." As Nexus spoke, more pods began to open, revealing similarly fluid beings. Each introduced itself with a unique designation: Helios, Gaia, Nyx, and others, each apparently specialized for different tasks. The facility rumbled as the Zarkonian ship landed nearby. Zara's heart pounded in her chest as she heard the sound of energy weapons discharging outside. "Nexus, we need to defend this place. Can you help?" Zara asked, her voice trembling. Nexus nodded, its body rippling with anticipation. "Affirmative. Chimera, initiate defensive protocols. Helios, establish a perimeter. Gaia, begin environmental manipulation. Nyx, prepare for stealth operations." The Chimera moved with incredible speed and precision, their bodies adapting to their tasks. Helios's form solidified into a gleaming metallic shell as it positioned itself at the entrance. Gaia melded with the very rock of the cavern, causing the ground to shift and change. Nyx simply vanished from sight. Zara watched in amazement as the genetic superweapons prepared for battle. She realized that these beings were not just weapons, but highly intelligent, adaptable life forms created by her ancestors. The cavern shook as the Zarkonians breached the outer defenses. Zara could hear their alien voices echoing through the tunnels, growing closer by the second. "Activator," Nexus said, turning to Zara. "We require direction. The Chimera are tools, shaped by the will of our human partners. What are your orders?" Zara hesitated, the weight of command settling heavily on her shoulders. These beams could potentially destroy the Zarkonian force with ease, but at what cost? The ethical implications of using such power were staggering. "Nexus, I don't want unnecessary bloodshed. Can we disable their ships and capture them instead?" Nexus paused, then nodded. "Understood." Adjusting parameters for non-lethal engagement. As the first Zarkonian soldiers burst into the chamber, Helios sprang into action. Its metallic body flowed like liquid mercury, engulfing the alien weapons and rendering them useless. Gaia caused the very floor to undulate, throwing the invaders off balance. Zara watched in awe as the Chimera effortlessly neutralized the Zarkonian threat. Within minutes, the alien soldiers were disarmed and contained, their faces a mix of fear and confusion. As the dust settled, Zara approached the captured Zarkonians. Their leader, a tall reptilian being with iridescent scales, glared at her with 4 violet eyes. "What manner of devilry is this, human?" the Zarkonian commander hissed. "Such power is beyond your kind." Zara stood tall, drawing strength from the Chimera at her back. "You're wrong. This power has always been ours. We just forgot about it for a while." As she spoke, Zara's mind whirled with the implications of her discovery. The balance of power in the galaxy had just shifted dramatically, and she was at the center of it all. Dr. Emerson's voice crackled through her comms once more. "Zara, what's your status?" "The situation is under control, Dr. Emerson," Zara replied, her voice steady. "But I think you better inform Earth that things are about to change." As Zara began to explain the existence of the Chimera and the true history of humanity to Dr. Emerson, she noticed Nexus and the other genetic superweapons watching her intently. She realized that every decision she made from this point on would shape not just her own future, but that of her entire species and perhaps the galaxy itself. The Zarkonian commander, seeing the power at Zara's disposal, spoke again, this time with a hint of desperation in his voice. "Human, you don't understand the forces you're dealing with. The Empire will not stand for this. There will be war." Zara turned to the alien, her young face set with determination. "Then we'll be ready. Humanity has slept for too long. It's time we took our place among the stars." As she spoke these words, Zara felt a profound change come over her. The scared teenager who had landed on this planet just hours ago was gone. In her place stood a young woman ready to bear the burdens of history and to guide humanity into a new age. The genetic superweapons hummed with energy, ready to reshape the galaxy at her command. The age of human subjugation was over. A new chapter in galactic history was about to unfold, with Zara Novak and the long-forgotten legacy of humanity at its heart. As the first reports of the incident began to spread across the galaxy, civilizations both known and unknown turned their attention to the long-overlooked humans. The sleeping giant had awakened, and the universe would never be the same. The Empire strikes. The news of Zara's discovery spread like wildfire across the galaxy. Within days, the United Earth Federation found itself at the center of a diplomatic firestorm. The Zarkonian Empire, humiliated by the ease with which their patrol had been neutralized, demanded the immediate surrender of the genetic superweapons and the human responsible for their activation. Zara, now back on Earth, stood before the Global Defense Council, the Chimera by her side. The council chamber buzzed with a mixture of fear and excitement as world leaders grappled with the implications of their newfound power. "Ms. Novak," began the council president, her voice stern, "your actions have placed Earth in a precarious position. The Zarkonians are threatening war if we don't comply with their demands." Zara stepped forward, her posture confident despite the pressure. "Madam President, respected council members, I understand your concerns. But we can't give up this technology. It's not just a weapon. It's our heritage, our legacy. The Chimera are intelligent beings, and they've chosen to align themselves with us." Nexus, standing beside Zora, addressed the council. "We are the guardians of humanity's past and the key to its future. We will not allow ourselves to be used as mere bargaining chips." The council chamber erupted in murmurs. Never before had they witnessed anything like the Chimera. As the debate raged on, alarms blared throughout the building. A holographic display flickered to life, showing a massive Zarkonian fleet entering the solar system. "They're here," gasped one of the council members. The president turned to Zora, her eyes filled with a mixture of fear and determination. "Ms. Novak, it seems we no longer have the luxury of debate. What do you propose we do?" Zara took a deep breath, feeling the weight of humanity's fate on her shoulders. "We stand our ground. We show the Zarkonians and the rest of the galaxy that humanity is no longer a species to be trifled with." With the council's reluctant approval, Zara and the Chimera were given command of Earth's defenses. As the Zarkonian fleet approached, Zara coordinated with military leaders to deploy the Chimera strategically. Helios and its kin formed an impenetrable shield around the planet, their bodies morphing into a network of advanced defense systems. Gaia linked with Earth's biosphere, ready to turn the very planet itself into a weapon if necessary. Nyx and its stealth units infiltrated the approaching Zarkonian ships, gathering intelligence and sabotaging key systems. As the first wave of Zarkonian ships entered Earth's atmosphere, Zara watched from the command center, her heart pounding. This was the moment that would define humanity's place in the galaxy. The battle that ensued was unlike anything in recorded history. The Zarkonians unleashed weapon systems capable of shattering continents, only to find their energy beams absorbed and redirected by the adaptive defenses of the Chimera. Earth's conventional military forces, augmented by the genetic superweapons, fought with unprecedented effectiveness. Zara, linked mentally with Nexus, directed the battle with a strategic acumen that belied her years. She could feel the collective knowledge of ancient human warriors flowing through her, guiding her decisions. As the conflict raged, Zara began to understand the true extent of the Chimera's capabilities. They weren't just weapons or shields. They were capable of manipulating matter and energy at a fundamental level. With a thought, Zara directed Nexus to disable the Zarkonian fleet's propulsion systems, leaving the alien ships dead in space. But victory came at a cost. While Earth remained largely unscathed thanks to the Chimera's protection, the same couldn't be said for its colonies and outposts across the solar system. Reports flooded in of devastating attacks on lunar bases and Martian settlements. As the battle reached its climax, Zara made a decision that would change the course of the war. Using the Chimera's ability to manipulate genetics, she instructed them to create a non-lethal bioweapon, tailored specifically to Zarkonian physiology. Within hours, the entire invasion force was incapacitated, their bodies locked in a state of suspended animation. With the immediate threat neutralized, Zara turned her attention to the Zarkonian homeworld. Using the captured fleet's communication systems, she broadcast a message across the galaxy. To the Zarkonian Empire and all sentient species watching, let this be a demonstration of humanity's resolve. We have lived under the shadow of alien dominance for too long. No more. We possess power beyond your comprehension, yet we choose restraint. Your invasion force lives, though they are at our mercy. We demand recognition of Earth's sovereignty and our right to exist as equals in this galaxy. Any further aggression will be met with the full might of our forgotten legacy. As Zora's words echoed across countless worlds, the galaxy held its breath. The age of human subjugation was over, but what would take its place? Would humanity rise as benevolent guardians of galactic peace, or would they become the very tyrants they sought to overthrow? Zara, standing amidst the Chimera and Earth's leaders, felt the weight of these questions. She had unlocked humanity's true potential, but with it came the burden of wielding such immense power responsibly. As the dust settled on this first, decisive battle, Zara knew that the real challenges were just beginning. The galaxy was watching, waiting to see what this resurgent humanity would do next. And at the center of it all stood a young woman, the key to humanity's forgotten legacy, ready to guide her species into an uncertain but promising future. Unleashing the arsenal. In the weeks following Earth's decisive victory over the Zarkonian invasion force, the galaxy was abuzz with activity. The once dominant alien civilizations scrambled to reassess their positions in light of humanity's newfound power. Meanwhile, Earth grappled with its sudden ascension to a major galactic player. Zara found herself at the center of a political and ethical maelstrom. As she stood before the newly formed Terran Galactic Council, she could feel the weight of countless eyes upon her, both human and alien. "Ms. Novak," began the council chair, Admiral Helena Chen, "your actions have safeguarded Earth, but they've also opened a Pandora's box. We need to decide how to proceed with the Chimera and our new role in galactic affairs." Zara nodded, her young face etched with the wisdom of one who had seen too much, too soon. "I understand, Admiral. The Chimera are not just weapons. They're sentient beings with immense power. We have a responsibility to use that power wisely." As if on cue, Nexus materialized beside Zara, its fluid form shimmering with barely contained energy. "We are tools of creation as much as destruction," it intoned. "The choice of how to use us lies with humanity." The council chamber erupted in debate. Some argued for immediate galactic expansion, leveraging the Chimera to carve out a human empire. Others advocated for isolation, fearing the corrupting influence of such power. As the arguments raged, an urgent message flashed across the chamber's holographic displays. The Zarkonian Empire, reeling from its defeat, had launched a desperate attack on human colonies in the Ta City system. Admiral Chen turned to Zara, her expression grim. "It seems the Zarkonians didn't heed your warning, Ms. Novak. What do you propose we do?" Zara closed her eyes, communing silently with Nexus and the other Chimera. When she opened them, her gaze was steely with resolve. "We respond, but not as conquerors. We'll use the Chimera to end this conflict decisively, but without unnecessary bloodshed." With the Council's blessing, Zara and a contingent of Chimera set out for Ta City. As their ship entered the system, they were met with a scene of chaos. Zarkonian warships bombarded the human colonies, their weapons tearing through defensive shields. Zara's mind raced as she formulated a plan. "Nexus, Helios, create a barrier around the colonies. Gaia, I need you to interface with the planet's ecosystems, strengthen them against the assault. Nyx, infiltrate the Zarkonian command ships and disable their weapons." The Chimera moved with fluid grace, their bodies morphing and adapting to each task. Helios and its kin formed an iridescent shield that absorbed and dissipated the Zarkonian energy weapons. Gaia merged with the colony's biospheres, accelerating plant growth to repair atmospheric damage and stabilize tectonic activity. Meanwhile, Nyx and its stealth units slipped aboard the Zarkonian ships, their nanite-infused bodies sabotaging weapon systems and communication arrays. Within hours, the attacking fleet was neutralized, drifting helplessly in space. But Zara wasn't finished. With a thought, she directed Nexus to establish a communication link with the Zarkonian homeworld. The faces of the alien leaders appeared on the view screen, their expressions a mixture of fury and fear. "People of the Zarkonian Empire," Zara began, her voice steady, "your attack on our colonies ends now. But we do not seek your destruction. Instead, we offer you a choice." With a nod to Nexus, Zara initiated the next phase of her plan. The Chimera began to release a specially engineered genetic package into the Zarkonian ship's life support systems. "What you're experiencing now is not a weapon, but a gift," Zara continued. "The Chimera have the power to rewrite genetic code. We're offering your species the ability to survive in a wider range of environments, to heal faster, to live longer. In short, We're offering you evolution." The Zarkonian leaders watched in amazement as their soldiers began to change, their bodies adapting in real time to the harsh conditions of space. "This is but a fraction of what we can do," Zora said. "We could just as easily have wiped out your entire species, but that's not who we choose to be. Humanity wants peace, cooperation, and mutual growth. Will you join us in building a better galaxy for all sentient beings?" As Zora's words hung in the air, she felt the enormity of the moment. She had just altered the course of an entire species' evolution, and with it, the future of galactic politics. The response from the Zarkonian leaders was not immediate, but it was clear that the balance of power had irrevocably shifted. Humanity, with its control over the fundamental forces of life itself, had become a power that could no longer be ignored or subjugated. As news of the encounter spread, other alien civilizations began to reach out to Earth, some seeking alliances, others requesting genetic enhancements of their own. The age of human isolation was over, replaced by an era where humanity stood at the forefront of galactic evolution. But with this power came hard questions. How much should humanity intervene in the development of other species? What were the ethical implications of wielding the power of creation itself? As Zara and the Terran Galactic Council grappled with these questions, one thing became clear. The discovery of the Chimera had not just changed humanity's place in the galaxy. It had changed the very nature of galactic civilization itself. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath, waiting to see what this newly awakened human race would do next. And at the center of it all stood Zara Novak, the young woman who had unlocked humanity's forgotten legacy, now tasked with guiding her species through the uncharted waters of their newfound power. A new galactic order. 5 years had passed since Zara Novak's fateful discovery of the Chimera. The galaxy had transformed in ways few could have imagined. Earth, once a backwater planet in a sea of advanced civilizations, now stood at the center of a new galactic order. Zara, now 22, gazed out at the sprawling cityscape of New Alexandria, Earth's first extrasolar capital on a terraformed world in the Alpha Centauri system. The city was a testament to humanity's newfound power and the collaborative efforts of multiple species. Zarkonian architecture blended seamlessly with human designs, while other alien influences added to the city's unique aesthetic. As she prepared for the first Galactic Concordat Summit, Zara reflected on the journey that had led to this moment. The years had been filled with challenges, diplomatic crises, and the constant struggle to use the Chimera's power responsibly. Nexus materialized beside her, its form shimmering with the collective knowledge of countless civilizations. "The delegates are assembling, Zara. It's time." Zara nodded, smoothing down her formal attire. A blend of traditional human design and alien influences. "Thank you, Nexus. Let's hope today marks the beginning of a new era of cooperation." As they entered the Grand Assembly Hall, Zara was struck by the diversity of the gathered delegates. Representatives from hundreds of species filled the chamber, their forms as varied as the stars themselves. The Zarkonians, once Earth's greatest threat, now sat as equals among the assembly. Admiral Chen, now serving as Earth's primary representative, nodded to Zara as she took her place at the central podium. The chamber fell silent as Zara began to speak. "Distinguished delegates, I stand before you today, not just as a representative of Earth, but as a symbol of what we can achieve when we embrace change and cooperation. 5 years ago, humanity awakened to its true potential. We could have used that power to dominate, to conquer. Instead, we chose a different path." Zara gestured to the assembled aliens, many of whom had benefited from carefully administered genetic enhancements courtesy of the Chimera. "We offered our hand in friendship, sharing our knowledge and capabilities. Together, we've cured diseases that plagued our civilizations for millennia. We've terraformed dead worlds, bringing life to the lifeless. We've unlocked secrets of the universe that none of us could have discovered alone." A murmur of agreement rippled through the chamber. Even those initially wary of Earth's rise to power had to acknowledge the benefits it had brought. "But our journey is far from over," Zora continued. The power we wield comes with great responsibility. The Chimera are not just weapons or tools. They are the key to unlocking the genetic potential of all life in our galaxy. How we use this power will define not just our civilizations, but the very future of evolution itself. Zora paused, her gaze sweeping across the assembly. That is why we are here today. The Galactic Concordat is not just a peace treaty or a trade agreement. It is a roadmap for our shared future, a commitment to use our collective knowledge and capabilities for the betterment of all sentient life. As Zara outlined the principles of the Concordat, mutual defense, shared scientific research, ethical guidelines for genetic manipulation, and a framework for resolving interspecies conflicts, she could sense the growing excitement in the chamber. The Zarkonian ambassador, Thyler, rose to speak. His species, once warlike and expansionist, had undergone a remarkable transformation. 5 years ago, we saw humanity as a threat to be eliminated. Today, we stand as partners in a grand experiment. The genetic gifts your people have shared have opened our eyes to new possibilities. We pledge our full support to the Concordat. One by one, representatives from various species stood to voice their support. Even those who had been skeptical of Earth's rapid rise to power found themselves swayed by the vision of a united, evolving galaxy. As the summit drew to a close, with the Galactic Concordat ratified by an overwhelming majority, Zara felt a sense of both accomplishment and trepidation. They had taken the first step towards a new era of galactic cooperation, but the road ahead was far from certain. Nexus, sensing Zora's thoughts, spoke softly. The future is not set, Zora. What you've started here today will ripple across time and space in ways we cannot predict. Zara nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. That's what makes it exciting, isn't it? We're not just changing the galaxy, Nexus. We're changing the very nature of life itself. As the delegates filed out of the chamber, many pausing to congratulate Zora, she found herself thinking of that scared 17-year-old girl who had stumbled upon an ancient vault on a distant world. So much had changed, yet the fundamental question remained the same. How would humanity shape its destiny among the stars? The Chimera had awakened humanity's forgotten legacy, but it was up to Zara and her fellow humans to determine what that legacy would become. As she looked out at the assembled representatives of a united galaxy, Zara felt a surge of hope. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together as architects of a new cosmic order. The age of human subjugation was long gone. In its place stood an era of unlimited potential, with humanity and its newfound allies poised to unlock the secrets of creation itself. As Zara stepped down from the podium, she knew that their greatest adventures still lay ahead, waiting to be written in the stars.